Marhaba, my chingus. This is a daily Oppa, and we are talking Lebanon, my experience versus media bias. One week before going to Lebanon, I flew to Texas where I met with an old friend of mine, Bob. So Bob is an old cowboy Texas rancher. What do you know about Lebanon? Bob's only experience and understanding of Arabs and Muslims is through media.
Lebanon is a seedbed of terrorism. It's just not as visible as it is in other places. But every single Middle Eastern country where the Muslim Brotherhood exists or strong Islamic heavy-handed tyrants exist is capable of going under in a blink of an eye. They're capable of being morphed into an Islamic state and boom.
So I didn't tell Bob that I had already made plans to go to the Middle East until that moment.
You mean all this talk was just you? I thought you were just exploring some concepts, but you're really leaving next week to go to the Middle East.
Yes, sir.
After all my words of wisdom. Jeez, Tofi, that's 3 or 4 months in the seedbed of terrorism and anti-Americanism.
Upon arrival into Lebanon, I took a taxi to the place I'd be staying. And on the way there, I did see some buildings that wore the scars, the memories of some of Lebanon's history. But I also saw beautiful scenery. And what was kind of cool for me was I happened to stay at a place that was a cross point between one Muslim neighborhood and a Christian neighborhood. And that's one of the special things about Lebanon from my experience, is the coexistence of different religions. I visited many religious places, and it was always the same. People treated me with respect. And there was one mosque actually where the imam he invited me inside, and he was so excited to see me that he wanted to take pictures of me. So he took my phone and was trying to take pictures, but he was recording video instead. Not all of Lebanon is going to be walkable, okay, especially in Beirut. But the places that are, it's like walking through a painting. And what's amazing to me is the way you see these ancient artifacts from the Romans, from the Phoenicians, and they're all in plain sight as you travel from city to city. Now, for me, like my personal favorite thing that I got to see was the Monolith in Baalbek. Now, why the Monolith? It's because the Monolith predates the Romans, and it's said to be 12,000 years old. So what that pretty much tells you is that the history of Lebanon is even older and even more mysterious than what most people understand. What can I expect when I go to Lebanon?
I would have a stainless steel neck thing made to cover your vital organs, because the sting of a knife going in your neck is probably a pretty gruesome feeling. It's stark terror when you realize your lifeblood is shooting out of your arteries in your throat and your head's going to be laying on your chest in a moment. So I would expect bad times if I were you.
Bad times is not a part of the cultural paradigm in Lebanon, okay? So it's more like when in Lebanon, expect to have good times. Okay, and so this idea that just because it's the Middle East, because there's Muslims, that everything is forbidden, it's the opposite of the truth. Okay, so there's an alcohol called arak, it's this Arab liqueur, and I was drinking it practically every night, and I was also smoking shisha. And occasionally, when I got too drunk, I would dance, and yeah, dancing is not forbidden, but I shouldn't be dancing. It should be forbidden for me to dance.
The Islamic religion doesn't allow things, especially among the women. They're really held back. But just exposing your full face or your head in public is a death penalty. Being outside without a male member of your family to escort you can be a death penalty. Caning, stoning, beatings, and it's all okay. It's within their quasi-religion government type of atmosphere.
So Bob talking about this atmosphere of violence if a woman steps out the door without covering herself. There's women in Lebanon that are in short skirts, showing off their sexy ass legs, all that, okay? And it's okay. Cheers! Cheers! But all around you, you see all kinds of women in Lebanon, okay? Hijabi, no hijabi, burqa. I had many hijabi friends that I would go have shisha with. Okay, I saw women working at their own businesses and working independently of a male member of their family.
زبوننا الدائم هون فيكم تزورونا وبتشوفوا توفي عنا كمان ميرسي لكم. Thank you.
Okay, did you hear that? So whatever she said, So come into the store. Look, beautiful stuff here.
They're so harsh and mean in their enforcement of their religious beliefs in the Quran and their interpretation of it that I think they'd sell their grandmother for a nickel.
Sell their grandmother for a nickel, quote unquote. Okay, so let me just start off by saying that I've traveled the world, okay? I know it's bragging, but I've probably seen more of the world than most people will ever get to see in their life. And I can tell you that of all the different cultures I've seen and been a part of, the Arab world, the Lebanese people have been some of the most generous, hospitable people I've ever met. I honestly mean that. Kibbeh. And Laha Harda. Laha Arish.
Wara Arish.
La Awarish.
Wara Arish.
Wara Arish.
Okay.
Wara Arish. Okay? Wara Arish. This is Wara Arish.
Delicious.
And it's very delicious.
It's good.
That's delicious.
Yes, it's delicious.
Yeah, delicious. So this idea that Lebanese would sell their grandmother for a nickel, here's the deal. You're going to find shitheads anywhere you go. Anywhere you go in the world, you're going to find somebody that would sell their grandmother for a nickel, okay? And yes, I've met a couple of those in Lebanon. Usually they're called taxi drivers.
Layak warak layak.
Layak wara layak.
Wa'aynu labayak.
Waya nuna baya.
Layak اوعى تشوفه.
Layak huya chufa.
اوعى تشوفي طوفي.
Leka buka chufi. Bob's not the only one that has only understands the Arab Muslim world through the media. There's a lot of people that are completely misinformed.
Do you have an escape plan ready if you need it?
No, sir. I don't know what else to say, so let me go ahead and end this. I know you're bored, right? Yes, you're bored, I know. Let me give a shout out to some of my friends who made Lebanon like such a memorable experience for me. So off the top of my head, let me just say thank you to Bashar.
Khatife, you know?
Khatife.
Without their parents' permission.
There's also my friend Ibrahim. Ibrahim is the youngest politician in Lebanon.
Lebanon, if you go back through history, is the land of alphabets, it's the land of miracles, it's the land of all the cultures that tried to invade it. And that's not a coincidence. We have the Romans, we have the Phoenicians, we have a lot of cultures. Even Jesus did his first miracle in the southern of Lebanon.
And then also, who else? Okay, you have my friend Dina. Dina is actually the very first friend I made, the first Lebanese friend I made. And inshallah, her dream is to go to Korea, and I hope that it happens for her. Oh, bye. Bye in Arabic.
Bye. إلى اللقاء. الوداع.
Al-Wabada.